Guys, so in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make a luxurious bag that the flap is not connected to the body. So if this is something you like to see, please stay tuned to the channel and let's go straight into the tutorial. So guys, the first thing you're going to go ahead and do, of course, is to get the main body of the bag. Now, this main body consists of the first body, the bottom, and the second body without the top and the flap. You know, the tutorial is about a bag that the flap is separate, that you have to sew the flap on the bag. So this is just me going making my measurements. The measurements I of the bag is the width is 8 inches, while the first body is 5.5 inches, the base is 5 inches, and the second body of course has to be 5 inches. So this is just me going out by half inches from the top, so that I'm going to be connecting it to where the base stop. Now the reason why I'm using the base as 5 inches is because I am making this bag with a stylish trending corset. So if you don't know, if you've not watched the tutorial on how I made that stylish trending corset, I'm going to put it in the description box so that you'll be able to watch it and understand why the base of this bag is 5 inches. But if you are just making a regular bag with a regular corset, I will advise you make the base 4 inches, not 5 inches. So having said that, I went ahead and cut out the pattern I drafted on the actual interfacing I am using, which is a carry board. You can use a Mako, and you can use a carry board, anything that fits your preference, and you can also use a double-sided leather, so anyone that suits your preference. But me, because I want the bag to be very very stiff, I decided to use a chipboard. So this is just me making the markings I made on the initial pattern on the carry board, so that when I am joining the pieces, I wouldn't have to be thinking where my markings or my detachings are. So after I've went ahead and do the marking, this is the fabric I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using a foam to just reduce the stiffness of the carry board on the right side, on the part that I'm going to be putting the fabric. So I'm going to be putting a foam. So if you're using a leather, a soft leather, you can omit putting the foam. But because I'm using an Ankara fabric, and Ankara fabrics are normally light, so I just decided to just put a foam so that it will give it this soft feel rather than a hard feel. Because people who are not bag makers, immediately they just see your bag and they touch it, they will think you are putting ordinary carton inside. But when you put a foam, this will prevent them from asking silly questions like, what did you use in the making of the bag? Are you sure it's not carton? You know, things like that. So after you put your foam, you go ahead and put the fabric. You go ahead and put the fabric as well, then you just go ahead and gum it. So after I was done, this is what it looks like. So I am just making sure everything is staying in place, because it's Ankara fabric. If it doesn't stay, it will unravel, and you don't want it to unravel. So you take your time and fold in the edges like this, and after I was done, this is what it looks like. So after I was done with that, I'm going to go ahead and proceed on the part that is going to be carrying the lining, and I decided to put a black lining for the inner part. So when I was done, this is what it looks like. I'm just folding the edges so that I'll get my shape intact. I'll get my shape intact. So when I was done, this is what it looks like. Now the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to start working on the flap. Now for the flap, you are going to decide the length of the flap, and you are also going to decide the width as well. So we cut out the main body, we cut out 8 inches at first, then we removed half inches on both sides. So when you remove half inches from both sides, half plus half is 1 inches, plus minus 8 inches, so we are getting 7 inches. So you are cutting the flap, the width of the flap as 7 inches. Now the width of the flap determines the width of your own bag. I'm just telling you how I got the width of my own flap. Now for the length, you are going to, let's say for instance you want the flap to be 7 inches. 7 inches. Now you want it to be, sorry, not 7 inches, you want it to be 3 inches. Now you want the flap to be 3 inches. The top, of course, my top are always 2 inches because I like the effect. So the top is 2 inches. Now instead of cutting only 5 inches, you are going to be adding 1.5 inches. Now it is that 1.5 inches you are going to be sewing to the side of the bag. I just hope you understand what I am saying. So that is what I cut out here. And because I wanted the flap to have this M shape, I went ahead and cut out the M shape. I went ahead and cut out the M shape. This is not the purpose of the video, but if you want me to give a detailed explanation on how I got the M shape, please drop it in the comment section. So you could just do your flap like that with any style or any design you want. So that is the measurement of the flap. So this is just me recreating what I have drew for the first one. I'm recreating it on the second piece. Then I'll just go ahead and cut it out because I am using a light fabric. I'm using a light material. I'm using a cardboard paper. The reason is because my machine cannot sew two carry board together. They are too stiff, too strong for my machine to sew. But if you are using an industrial machine or a cylinder bed machine, don't mind me, you could sew two carry board together because it is very, very strong. But because I am using a blackhead machine, I am going to be using two chipboard papers, that is two cardboard papers in order to give the flap this structure. If you are using Marco, my own machine cannot sew two layers of Marco together. So, but if you are having an industrial machine, like I said before, you could join two Marcos together and it will come out well. So I just hope you understand what I am saying. But for those of us who are just starting out and we have a blackhead machine, I would advise you use a light fabric, maybe a light leather, not a two-faced leather, a light leather, just give the flap a structure, a kind of structure, so that it will not be flying around or moving around when you are done with the bag. But you also know we are going to put a lock on the bag, so definitely the flap is going to stay in place. But you need something that will give it a kind of structure. And because I am using an Ankara fabric, that is even another reason why I need to put two layers. And if you are using a leather, it will even make it more what's it called, more more stronger, because leather are normally thicker and weightier than Ankara fabric. So having explained all this, now we are going to be I am just going to be marking out all the things I said about the flap. So I am removing 3 inches as the length of my flap. So this is, I'm making the markings. I'll draw out the lines. This is a guide so that when I am sewing the body, when I'm sewing the flap to the body, I will not make mistake. Then I'll go ahead and remove the 2 inches for my top. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines this way. Then the remaining one, of course, is 1.5 inches, the one that we are going to be sewing on the flap. So of course you are going to fold it like this. You fold it, fold it, fold it. Now the next thing you're going to go ahead and do is to cut out half inches from this side. You cut out half inches from this side. Is it what, half inches or 1 inches? No, it's 1 inches. You cut out 1 inches from this side in order to give the flap a kind of beautiful professional effects. Instead of it to just be square there, it will not be fine if it's just square. So you need to cut out 1 inches or 3/4 of an inch like this in order to have this shape. So you go ahead and do it on another piece. Then you go ahead and wrap it with your fabric. One is for lining, one is for the overall fabric. So after you're done wrapping the two, now the next thing you're going to go ahead and do and is to work on the handle. So I am making a braided handle, so you can make any handle of your choice. So I will just go ahead and braid the handle. If you don't know how to make a braided handle, I have a tutorial on the channel. I am going to put the link in the description box on how to make a braided handle and the measurements you can use as well. So this is just me making my braids, and when I am done making the braids, I'll just go ahead and look for the center of the top. You know, the flap has the flap, the top, and the 1.5 inches extension. So now if you want to put the your handle, you are putting the handle on the one on the 2 inches, sorry, on the 2 inches. So that is the reason why it is very, very essential you fold and fold and fold, so that when you want to do things like this, you wouldn't have any issue. So I am just going out by 1.5 inches from the ends, and I am just making, it's 2 inches. So I'm just making a circle that I'm going to just cut it out. I'm just going to cut it out. So you could use an eyelet for this in order to have a nice finished work, but I just decided not to put an eyelet, and I just decided to just make the hole very, very, very tiny, so that when I push the handle inside, it will not be showing any rough edges. But I will advise you put an eyelet for yours in order to give it that beautiful professional look. So I advise you put your eyelets on this part. So if you don't have an eyelet machine, and you are struggling with how to put your eyelets on your bags, I have a tutorial on the channel on how to put an eyelet on your bags without an eyelet machine. It is explanatory and detailed. I'm going to put the link in the description box so that you'll be able to go and watch it and also learn from that tutorial as well. So after I was done putting the handle, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to put my iodide. It's called super glue. So I put my super glue to hold it in place, but you could stitch it. But me, I didn't want it to have any extra stitches on that top. That is why I decided to put my super glue. The super glue is as strong as sewing the handle, so it will not remove and it will also not move around. So when I was done, I am now going to go ahead and put my gum and join the two panels together, which is the lining and this one that has the what's it called this one that has the handle. So you know, the one that has the handle is the one that is going to be on top, while this other one that doesn't have a lining is the one that is going to be on the inside. So when I was done, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to just give it a top stitch. Then I will now sew it, two double stitches on the bag, and that is like basically everything about making a bag that comes with a separate flap. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.